Hey guys, welcome to another episode of my Wedding Bell series. Today I'm going to be talking about how to pick the perfect venue. Okay, so pretty much booking your venue is the first major thing that you should be doing. One mistake that people make is they start telling people the date that they decided on before they even have a venue. You do not have a date until you have a venue. And honestly, it's really better to leave your options open anyways, because you could have an ideal date in your brain, but that's just going to make it way harder to find a venue that has that availability. And what may end up happening is that you may find a venue and fall completely in love with it, but then they don't have your date available. And who wants that, right? So basically, I recommend just going with a general time of year that you want to get married and then seeing venues availability based on that time frame that you have set up for yourself. So this past Wednesday, June 22nd, my mom and I went up to go see mine and Peter's venue. I was super excited to see what it looked like in full bloom, because the last time I saw that it was still pretty much winter, so everything was dead and brown and bleh. And my mom was really looking forward to seeing it too, because she's handling a lot of the decor aspects, and she kind of wanted to get an idea of how many different places around the venue she wanted to add her little personal touch. So we went up there, we walked around, and it was beautiful. It was so different from when I last saw it. Our wedding will be taking place at this little inn. And when we first went up there, you know, the heat wasn't on yet. They were still kind of gearing up for the wedding season to begin. So inside the inn was freezing, so it was really hard to imagine it being all homey and cozy. But this was totally different when we went up it. So today we've come to visit the venue. I brought my mom here.
That's me.
That's her. What do you think of the place so far?
I'm the mom. It's very pretty.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, there's more. Okay, come on,
Go.
Let's go.
Everything was green and there was flowers everywhere. It was beautiful. The inn was all set up, ready for guests. The people were there setting up for a wedding the coming weekend. And it just really made me all the more excited for the big day. Okay, so we just finished looking at the venue. Final thoughts?
Oh, I hate having to talk on these things.
It was beautiful.
And I can't wait.
Yeah.
We're here away.
The centerpiece looked great. We brought up a, what is it called? A mock-up?
A mock-up, yeah.
Yeah, it's very tall and grand.
Yeah. Yeah. So now we're gonna go get lunch. McDonald's!
So, my first tip, which will pretty much be the same for anything I talk about on this channel, is budget. You need to find a venue that fits your budget. So you first choose your budget, and then you only look at venues that fit within that budget, because if you start looking at venues that are outside of that budget, then that's when you start running into trouble. My second tip, which pretty much goes hand in hand with budget, is thinking about all of the extra expenses or anything that's included in the venue cost. So you can pretty much break down venues into two types of categories: all-inclusive or not. All-inclusive pretty much means that everything is included. So this includes catering, linens, tables, chairs. Sometimes this even includes a photographer or even decor. So these are some things to consider when you're looking at venues, and definitely some questions to ask, like, what do we get for this price that you're telling us? The venue that Peter and I went with is all-inclusive, so that includes, they have some decor that we can use, but we're mostly using our own decor. This includes tables and chairs, including for the ceremony. This includes having the entire inn for the whole weekend. It includes catering. It includes cocktail hour. And most importantly, it includes the open bar. Now, you don't have to have an open bar, but I think it's the best option. I definitely think your guests will have the most fun, but that's for another video. Catering is a very important thing to consider when choosing a venue. If they have their own caterer, but maybe you want to go with someone else, it's important to ask if you're allowed to use your own caterer or not. Oftentimes, if a venue has an on-site caterer, then they won't let you use another vendor. Now, in terms of cost, I don't know whether an all-inclusive venue is cheaper or more expensive than one that's not. But one of the reasons that I really wanted to go with an all-inclusive venue was because I just didn't want to deal with having to find tons of different vendors for individual things. That was just too stressful for me to think about, and honestly, like, I feel like my wedding planning so far has been a dream in terms of how complicated it's been. It's been so easy, In fact, everyone keeps asking me, what's new with the wedding planning? And I feel like I have nothing to tell them because I feel like I have nothing to do. But I'm sure that will change. In terms of all the other extras, let's say they do include decor or linens or chairs or tables. Oftentimes a venue provides these things and they'll have their standard set that they provide you, and then they'll have a bunch of other things like maybe different color tablecloths or, you know, fancier chairs and stuff that you can choose to upgrade to if you so choose. For example, I know a popular chair for weddings is the Chiavari chair, if I'm saying that right. Personally for me, a chair is a chair, and I don't think it's worth spending hundreds of dollars upgrading a chair just for one day, because realistically, as long as you don't have a super long ceremony, your guests are only going to be sitting in these chairs for a very short time and then during dinner. So I mean, let's hope that they're spending more time on the dance floor than they are at the tables. Another thing to ask about when booking your venue is whether or not they have a list of preferred vendors. For my venue, for example, they don't necessarily have a preferred vendor list, but they have a list of vendors that they can recommend to couples that they have worked with before. Whereas I know other vendors, they will have a preferred vendor list for any vendor you can think of, and then those are the only vendors that they'll work with. So you really want to know ahead of time if you book with one of those stricter venues, because on the one hand it might make it easier for you because everything is all laid out there for you and that's your one choice. But on the other hand, if you really had, you know, a specific person in mind for photography or for your cake or for decor, then that particular venue probably wouldn't suit your needs. And then of course there's always, you know, the little things to consider, like, does your venue allow open flames, such as candles? Does your venue allow fireworks or sparklers or anything else you can think of that you might want to include in your day? I'm not sure what number we're on, but I don't know, 4th, 5th, 6th thing to consider? How much time you have to set up and take down. So one of the reasons that I really love our venue is because they only do events on the weekend. So couples have the flexibility to go up in the middle of the week, you know, Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever, to start setting up. And I really like being able to have that time to help set up myself instead of rushing around on the actual wedding day and relying on other people to get everything in place. Oh, I almost forgot. You need to consider your guest list. How many guests do you think you're going to invite? You need to make sure that the venue can hold that capacity. If you fall in love with a venue that can only hold 50 people, then your guest list should not be more than 50 people. Even though people typically say you'll get a 15 to 20% decline rate, you should not rely on that. Do not rely on that. You need to go into planning assuming that everyone is coming. Therefore, if you have 200 guests, then you need to be able to have room for 200 guests, plus your vendors, and don't forget to count yourselves. But lastly, my biggest recommendation about finding a venue is read reviews. Read all of the reviews, find as many reviews as you can possibly find, because I feel like the best way to know the quality of a place is to read other people's experiences. The place that Peter and I booked got wonderful reviews all around, 5 stars everywhere. They said the food was great, they said the staff was amazing. I have a lot of confidence in the place that we chose. There's not a doubt in my mind that the day will go as smoothly as it possibly can. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope this video helps you find the perfect venue for your special day. If you want to see more of my wedding series, please like and subscribe, and I will see you soon. Bye!